A very good morning, everyone. My name is Prem Maheshwaran. I'm a product expert of ServiceDesk Plus, and I welcome you all to the session 2 of this masterclass webinar series. A quick recap of the previous episode. In the previous session, we discussed about how you can create a service catalog and deploy it to your business. And in this episode, we are going to discuss about incident management, how you can stop firefighting incidents in your organization. In this session, we are going to learn about the essentials of incident management. Let us quickly take a look at the agenda of this presentation. First, we are going to take a look at the different ways of creating requests in ServiceDesk Plus, how users can report incidents with ease into the application. Next, we are going to take a look at a set of features that can help you with housekeeping and managing tickets in the application. Thirdly, we are going to discuss about the automation options that are available in the application with which you can reduce the repetitive and mundane work that you do in order to coordinate requests between your customers and the technicians. Knowledge base is built into the application, so it is called Solutions in ServiceDesk Plus. So we'll also take a look at how you can easily create and manage and update your solutions in the product. And finally, we'll have a question and answer session. For this presentation, I'm using the Enterprise edition of ServiceDesk Plus, and it is the latest version. I have logged in as an SD administrator, an administrator account. So let us quickly take a look at how you can create incidents in ServiceDesk Plus. So there are different ways, and the primary and most used way is connecting with a mailbox. Under the admin section, organizational details, there is mail server settings. Under the mail server settings, you can configure the application to fetch email from a mailbox. So I have created and updated the mail server details. So this is the mail server's address, the username and password to access the mailbox, the email address from which the mails have to be fetched. ServiceDesk Plus supports POP and IMAP protocols, both in plain text and secure sockets. And also you can set the frequency at which the emails have to be fetched into the application. Once it is configured and saved, the application will access the email box, fetch the emails, and convert them into incidents in the application. There is an option available here if you don't want your users to report issues via email, however you want to converse for existing tickets, then you can enable this checkbox. By enabling it, no new requests will be allowed to be created via email. Users have to access the self-service portal and report issues through there, or they have to call the technicians, and technicians will create tickets on behalf of the end users. Also, there is an option to whitelist a set of domains. By providing the list of domains here, you can whitelist email addresses. Only those addresses will be allowed to report issues in the application. All the outgoing emails will use the outgoing configuration that you set under the mail server settings here. Here you can provide the server name that has to be used for sending out emails. SMTP protocol and SMTP-S are used for sending out emails, and if your outgoing mail server requires authentication, you may have to update it here. In ServiceDesk Plus, there is a built-in spam filter. By updating the criterion here, the application will ignore emails that are considered as spam. Once the mail server is configured, the application will fetch, bring the request, and list it as incidents in the request list view. This is one of the mode of reporting incidents into ServiceDesk Plus. Not only end users can send out emails, you can even configure the monitoring applications to trigger alerts to the mailbox that you have configured with the application. That way, emails will be automatically triggered from the monitoring applications, and it will be fetched into the application, ServiceDesk Plus product. Let us take a look at the most recommended model of reporting incidents. That is via self-service portal. So I'm going to switch tabs. So in here, I have logged in as an end user in ServiceDesk Plus. So the employees of your organization can be given direct access to the portal. If you have integrated ServiceDesk Plus with Active Directory, they can use their domain credentials to log into the application and report issues directly. So that way you can reduce the volume of calls that your IT help desk team receives. Instead, you can create a catalog of templates and publish it to the end users. And it is even possible to group the templates based on service categories. Now let us take a look at how you can create a new issue template. Say for example, I want to create a template for router issues. Now, it is not very widely used, but for an example, I'll take this case. Now once again, I'm going to switch the tab. I'm in the admin portal. Here under Help Desk Customizer, you will find incident templates. You can go directly there, otherwise you can even do a search. These are the list of templates that are already available in the application. ServiceDesk Plus comes with built-in incident templates that are available out of the box. So if you are looking for sample templates, it is already available. Once you install the product, you can directly deploy them and use it. However, if you want to customize and create a list of templates, that is also possible. You can delete the older ones, reorder, or add new template. So in our case, I'm going to create a new template. Once I click on add new template, it'll give me a customizer with which I can build a new form for the type of issue that I'm going to work with. This I'm going to call router issues. I can add a brief description about the template, and the template is available for customization. So in the customizer, you can see default attributes. So attributes with which I can classify a request and assign it to the right resource or the support group. Some of the default attributes are mode, the mode by which a request is created, impact and urgency. Based on the impact and urgency, I can calculate priority, site and group. So site refers the geographical location of a user. Group refers the resolver group to which the ticket is going to be assigned to, and the technician will be the owner of the request who is going to work and provide a resolution to the end user. Further, we have got category, subcategory, and item, with which I can pinpoint and classify a request's nature. In addition to that, you have got level to mark the complexity of the request as well. So if I want to include level in this form, all I have to do is drag and drop, and that is it. The new field is added to this form. Likewise, I can have any form customized, and if I want to capture organization specific information, I can even add a new field. So once I drag and drop add new field, I'll be given the option to set the data type of the field. It can be a single line, pick list, multi-line, numeric, date and time, and decimal. So these are the options available with which I can create new additional fields. With the newer edition of ServiceDesk Plus, in order to comply with GDPR, we have also introduced an option to mark PII, personally identifiable information. Once I mark this, any data that is given in this field will be encrypted and stored. All right. So that way I can add additional fields into the form, and it is also possible to set the nature of the form. So if I go to edit, you've got the option to make a field mandatory. And also if you don't want your end users to make any modifications and keep it only for office use, I can uncheck this box. That way end users can only view the data in the field but cannot make any changes to the field. All right, once the form is customized, then you see the request details where the end user's information, the asset information, subject and description are available. So these are non-customizable. So these are available hard-coded into the form. And there is a section for updating the resolution for the ticket. So these are the options to customize the form. Once it is customized, the next step is to save and configure the workflow. Very similar to that of a request, a service catalog template, even the incident template has a workflow section. So you can set the approval configuration. So when you go to create a new request, once it is created, it is also possible to submit an incident for approval. Likewise, you can also pre-build a template with tasks. As a part of troubleshooting, if you have to delegate certain work to different support groups, those work can be pre-built as tasks into the template. By making use of this template, the tasks will be directly deployed to the support group or a technician directly. All right, now let us go back to the end user portal and see how I can create a new incident and submit to the help desk group. Now I'm going to switch tabs. So this is the end user's portal. Now the end user wants to report a printer issue. Clicking on that will give me the form. Here I can choose the information that I know. So this is a mandatory field where you should update the printer's location. If there is an asset involved, I can update it that. Update the subject. Now when I go to update the subject of a request, I'll be given suggestions. So as you can see here, this is picked from the solutions that I have updated already. In ServiceDesk Plus, you can update knowledge base articles under the solutions module. So in the admin portal, you'll see solutions. And here I can update solutions and add keywords. So these are the keywords. So as soon as I type the keyword in the subject of a request, all related solutions will be given as suggestions to the end users. For that to work, the solution has to be published. So let me edit the solution and I'll show you how you can publish a solution to the end users portal. Now this is the solution article. I can put it under a specific topic, update the keywords, and once this option is enabled, this solution will be available for end users. I can save and approve it and store it in the knowledge base articles list. That way, the solution article is given as a suggestion for the end user. So before he reports an issue, he'll be given the privilege to try it out, self-help, and if it doesn't work, he can continue to report the request. In the description section, he can leave a brief message about the incident and add the new request. So by giving a list of forms, end users are encouraged to use the self-service portal, and also it is very easy for them to report an incident. Moreover, the advantage of using self-service portal is the form is pre-configured with data. So that way it reduces the work for a coordinator. The category, subcategory, and item can be pre-configured in the form. So the incident that arrives through self-service portal will be classified already and you can assign it to the right resource directly. So conventionally, when you read an email, you may have to understand the issue. A coordinator has to manually fill in the category, subcategory, and item, and then assign it to the correct technician. But making use of self-service portal, it is already configured and you know what type of issue it is. So you can even automate the assignment process. We'll speak about automation when you go to that section. But now let us go back and focus on how you can modify and add more data into the default attributes available in the application. So we saw that we have got level, mode, impact, urgency, and few other default attributes. Let us take a look at how I can add more values into the default fields. For which, once again, I'm switching the tab and going to the admin section. So in the admin section under help desk customizer, here is where you can configure all the system attributes. First, let us take a look at categories. In ServiceDesk Plus, any issue is classified in 3 layers: category, subcategory, and item. So there is a tree view with which you can see these layers. So category, subcategory, and item. To add new category, all you have to do is click on new category, give the name, and also you can assign it to a technician. By enabling this option, whenever a category is chosen, this category is chosen, it will automatically assign the ticket to the technician chosen for the category. Likewise, under a category, you can add subcategories. And under a subcategory, you can add items. So if you don't want to go this way, there is also one more easier option with which you can add these 3 options. That is adding quick CSI. So all you have to do is add a new category, click on tab, add a new subcategory, click on a tab, add a new item. Now you can see here, just with tabs, I have created the category, subcategory, and item layers. This is a very easy way with which you can add these 3 layers and apply it into the application. If you're moving data from one of your old help desk products into ServiceDesk Plus, and if you want to bring the category, subcategory, and items into this application, it is facilitated with import from CSV. If we have the list of categories, subcategories, and items in an Excel sheet, it can be stored as a CSV file, and that file can be used to import the category, subcategory into the application. Next, let us take a look at status. Status marks the position of a request in the request lifecycle. By default, there are 4 statuses: open, on hold, resolved, and closed. Any new request that is reported will be in the open state, and when a request is in open state, the timer will be running in the background. So we all know that we have to comply with an SLA, and a due by time has to be given to the technician for him to finish the work. So it is essential to calculate the time that is spent by a technician on a request. So that is automatically taken care by the statuses. So if a technician has to stop the timer when he is expecting some updates from the end user, he can change the status to on hold. Let us take a look at how it is taking effect in the application. I'm going to open the request tab in another new tab. Open the request that the end user has submitted. Now by default, this request in the open state. Now, if I want to change the status of the request, click on status and move the status to on hold. When I change the status, it is possible for us to capture the status change comment. So the technician has to record why he changes the status from open to on hold. And it is also possible for the technician to automatically revert the status or change the status to a different one with a timer. So I want to wait for 3 hours. I'll be waiting for a reply from the end user, and if the end user doesn't contact me back, I can move the ticket to open state after a set time period. Once it is updated, the ticket will be in on hold status, and it will automatically reverse itself to open state. So that way the technician can initiate a phone call contact, get the inputs from the end user, and continue working on this request. So once again, let us go back to the customizer section. Here, level is there. Level is the complexity of the ticket. To add new levels, click on add new level. That will give you the option to customize new levels. So likewise, you have got the option for impact urgency and priority. So out of the box, it comes with a set of best practice that is being followed in various organizations. But in addition to that, you can make changes to it, delete the existing ones, and add it as per your requirements. It is recommended that the end users has to be given the privilege to set the priority on a request. But it doesn't always work that way. So if you give the option to set priority to an end user, they'll always choose high. So that is why we have got an indirect way to capture priority from end user, that is with priority matrix. So instead of publishing the priority directly to end users, you can publish impact and urgency. So based on the impact and urgency values given by the end user, we can automatically set the priority using priority matrix. In this matrix, I can compare the impact and urgency, and I can choose what priority has to be set for the request. That way, once the end user chooses the impact and urgency, the priority will be automatically set. Request type will help you to classify what type of request an end user has reported. Now let me go back to the form. I'm sorry, I don't see, I haven't added the request type here. Now, if an end user chooses request for information, it straight away denotes that he is asking for more information about something or an issue. All these values are reportable, so with which you can run reports, get the data, and find out what type of ticket a technician has worked in a month. Now let us go to the request list view. This is where a technician will spend most of his time. So it is essential to learn more about this section. With the newer version of ServiceDesk Plus, we have combined the request list view as well as the task list view. So these are the list of tasks that has been assigned to a technician. These are the tickets that he is currently working with. So there is a search option available with which he can filter his own tickets, his group's ticket, or all the tickets that are available in the helpdesk product. In addition to the default search option, the custom view option, it is also possible to create new custom views. Click on add view. That will give you the option to create a new custom view for yourself. Once you enable this checkbox, this view will be available only to yourself. And here, the criteria are available from the ticket. Now, if you want to filter only the printer issues, then you can go by the category. Choose from the list. Now, once I save, the custom view will be saved and it will be available for myself. That way I can get the quick view of all the printer issues that are reported. And it is also possible to search the newly created filter. Now, how to view the request details? To view the request details, click on the request. That will give you the request details section where all the information about the ticket is available. There are two ways with which you can edit a ticket. One is do a local edit on the request details. That will edit only this section of the request. Another one is the global edit, which will do a complete edit of the request, with which you can even modify the subject description and everything. Most of the times we have this issue where more than one technician might start working on the same request. So when it is done, a lot of manpower is wasted because there is no way to notify the other technician that already a technician has started working on this request. To overcome this, we have introduced request collaboration feature. Now with this feature, when I open a ticket, I can see if already working on the ticket. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to access the same request with a technician, another technician login. So I'm doing that in another computer just to showcase how the collaboration feature works. All right, here you can see there is a new pop-up. When I click on that, I can see myself and Simon are already viewing this request. With this feature, the technician who opens the request is given the information that already another technician has started working on the ticket. Now the technician will start working on the ticket, and once he finds the resolution, he can update the resolution in the resolution section here. Now under the resolution tab, you've got three sections. One is to add new resolutions. So in the edit view, there is a text box where he can update the resolution that he has given to the end user. And solutions will give the list of suggestions from the knowledge base. So if you have got knowledge base articles that are created for keywords available in this ticket, those solution articles will be given as suggestions. And finally, you have got tried solution. If a technician has copied a solution to the resolution, then that will be shown as a tried solution. So this solution has already been tried and applied in this incident to resolve it. And there is a history section where all the activities of the ticket are noted down in a chronological order. It is possible to search and find out what changes has been done at what time. All right. So when I search technician, it shows when a technician has been assigned on this ticket. Work order assessment is also built into a ticket. So say for example, if a request has got violated, then it is possible to find out what are the reasons for the violation from the time elapsed analysis chart. Here, the status at which the ticket has spent time, the group in which the ticket has spent most time, and the technician spent time will be noted down. So all the time that has been spent by different technicians are noted down. So the root cause for the failure for not meeting an SLA can be easily identified with time elapsed analysis chart. So this can be done on an incident level and it is not required for you to run complex reports. It is given directly in the incidents. These are the options available for a technician to quickly work on the request. Now let us take a look at the other management options available. Now let us take a case of duplicate tickets. So sometimes end users become very impatient. So they keep on sending tickets to the IT team. So as you can see here, Santosh is the end user. He has reported three issues, three tickets for the same issue. If that is the case, it is possible to merge them into one. To do that, select the three incidents that are duplicates. Under actions, you've got the option to merge. So the oldest ticket becomes the parent request. Once I click on merge, the three tickets can be merged. I'm really sorry, there is an issue with this in my installation. So it's a demo installation. So the idea is that all you have to do is choose the three, click on merge, and it will be merged into one request. The other two incidents will be added as conversations to the existing ticket. So you can take a look at the conversations within the request details section. So when I open the details section, the conversations that you have received for a ticket will be added in a threaded view. Now the second case is multiple users report similar issues. So if two or three users report an issue with a same printer, then that can be handled with linking of tickets. So to link two tickets, choose the tickets. Under action, you've got the option to link requests. Now the advantage of linking a ticket is that you can link two or more tickets and assign the primary request to a technician. So that way one technician can work on a ticket, and once he identifies and updates the resolution, all the linked tickets will also get updated with the same resolution. And also the progress that he makes on the ticket can be updated as notes. Under actions, add notes. He can leave a private note which will be copied to all the linked ticket owners. The notes will be available in the bottom of the ticket. Now, when you're working on a ticket, you may have to get some inputs from one of your senior technician. So instead of reassigning the request to a senior engineer, with a new option available in the application, you can do a share. So click on share request, and that will give you the option to share this particular incident with another engineer. Once I click on share, now this ticket will be shared with another engineer, and he can take a look at the request from the request list view, custom views, request shared with me. In this filter, he can see all the tickets that are shared with him. Now he can edit the shared request, make updates, add notes, and then notify the parent request owner. Now that we have taken a look at how you can manage incidents, work on the incidents, let us also take a look at how you can account the time that you have spent on an incident. When a technician is assigned with work, he will start working on the incident, and he may have to record the time that he has spent on an incident. So to do that, there is an option under the task section to create new work logs. So when you go to add a new work log, you can update the time that you have spent on the ticket and save it. Also the type of work log, if you have spent time on a remote session or on a phone call, you can add it as work log types and make use of it so that we can run reports and find out what type of work log a technician has added to a ticket. Now, it is not always possible to capture the exact start and end times that a technician has spent. So that is where we have given an option called work log timer. It is a soft stopwatch. Once you click on this and click on start, it will automatically keep running. It will make a note of the time that you have spent on the ticket. And once you're done with the work, you can choose to stop and add to work log. That way, the exact time spent by a technician on a phone call or on a remote session or on a field visit can be recorded and accounted. I would like to quickly show you a trick with which you can also identify that a technician is already working on an incident. Let us go back to the request list view. So the new request list view is very flexible and customizable. So you can add or remove columns that you need in this section. So this is the column customizer. When I click on it, I can see all the columns that are chosen by myself. And in this section, there is a column called technician timer. So I have enabled that. Once I save it, the technician timer can be seen. So if a technician has started the work log timer, it will reflect as a blue running clock in the list view. When I click on it, I can see the details about who is working on it and from what time he is working on it and the total time elapsed, for a technician. So this way you will quickly identify that a technician has already started working on a ticket. So that gives the managers a broad view of who is working on the ticket and how much time he is spending on the ticket. So now, if a manager has to leave a quick note to Paul, who is working on this ticket, from the list view, he can click on Add Notes, update the information, and save it. So that way, a new note is added, and the technician will be, given a notification, about the new note. So there is also an option to add reminders within a ticket. So under Actions, there is an option to create new reminders. So say for example, if you'd like to make a phone call to an end user on a scheduled time, I can add a reminder, choose the date and time, and add. So once it is done, a reminder will be added and it will notify the technician to make the phone call at the set time. Now when a technician is working on the ticket, if he has to get the requester's detail, all he has to do is go to the request details section, check the requester, and click on his name, and that will give the information about the requester. I can see his department and description and all the information that are updated for the requester. So if I have to quickly make a phone call to his mobile number, the mobile number will be available. So this information can be fetched from Active Directory. So if I have imported users from Active Directory, his contact details, job title, department, and other attributes are fetched and updated in ServiceDesk Plus. It is also possible to convert an incident into a service request. Sometimes end users might tend to shoot an email requesting for a new service. So generally, all emails are treated as incidents. Now, if you would like to convert an incident into service request, under Actions, you've got the option there. So click here. That will let you choose the service category, choose the template with which it has to be processed, And once you click on convert, the subject and description will be copied over to the service request template. So that way you don't miss any information that is sent via email. And with the same information, we can log a service request as well. So these are the options available in the request section with which a technician can easily work on the incident. So in addition to that, I would like to highlight one more very important feature: how you can delete a request. Now, we don't want technicians to directly go ahead and delete the tickets because level 1 engineer should not be given the privilege. So before we make the action of delete, let us see what are the privileges that can be given to a technician, a level 1 technician, and how you can control the permissions of a technician in this product. So under admin section, users, you've got roles. Roles are the profiles that can be applied to technicians. There are a few default roles that are available as non-editable. You can see the description of the default roles. Any technician who is given the SD admin privilege will become an administrator. So administrator is a roaming profile. Now I want to create a new role with restricted access for a technician. To do that, click on add new role, name it as level 1 engineer. Now here I can give him access to modules. So I want the level 1 engineers to work only on the request module, and I don't want them to delete requests. He has to view and add new problems or search for existing problems. So I am giving privilege only to view and add problems. No other access is given. For the asset module, I want to give him privilege to view the asset details. So if a ticket is created with associated asset, he can get the hardware and software information of the asset. So once that is done, under advanced privileges section, fine-grained options are available. Now assume that I don't want to allow technicians to close a request. You can only resolve a request, and once a ticket is resolved, I want to give the privilege to an end user to acknowledge the resolution and then close the ticket. That is the case, uncheck the close request option, create a role, and if this role is assigned, a technician will not get the privilege to close a ticket. He can only change the request status to resolved. All right. So once the status is updated as resolved, I want to notify the end user that the ticket has been resolved. Now let us take a look at what are the options available to communicate between the IT and the end users team, the end users department. So under admin section, notification rules. There is a huge list of notifications available for the request module, both for requesters as well as technicians. So whenever a ticket is assigned to a technician, you can trigger notifications. As soon as a new ticket is submitted by an end user, you can acknowledge the end user that the ticket has been received and also give him the request ID. Likewise, users can be notified as soon as the ticket is resolved. So the end user will get the privilege to acknowledge the resolution and close the ticket. But most of the times, end users don't respond because their issue is resolved, they're happy about it, but they won't get back to us. So there should be an automated way by which we should handle all the resolved tickets, wait for some time, and then automatically close them. And that has been handled in the request closing rule. So under the admin section, request closing rules, you can mandate fields which has to be definitely filled before closing the ticket. For example, resolution. Once you enable this option, only if the resolution is filled, the technician will be allowed to close a ticket. Likewise, there is an option to automatically close ticket after waiting for some time. So let's set it as 3 days. Now, once the technician sets the status to resolved, We'll wait for 3 days for the end user's response. If the end user doesn't respond, if he has not acknowledged the resolution, the application will automatically close the request. There are a few more configuration available in this section. So if you've got 2 or 3 tasks associated to an incident, all the tasks must be completed. And also, as soon as all the task is completed, you can move the status to resolved or closed. And there is also a concept called dependencies. So sometimes you may not be able to handle, a big ticket with just one request. So you may have to make use of the tasks, and sometimes you won't prefer to use tasks. If that is the case, we can make use of dependencies. I'm going to change the status to open just to showcase how dependencies will work. Now under the action section, you've got the option to add dependencies, so with which you can create dependencies between 2 or 3 tickets. Once that is done, a new tab will be available which shows the dependencies between the parent ticket and the child tickets. So only after the completion of the child tickets, a parent ticket can be closed. So there is also a map view available with which you can see the dependencies of the ticket. All right, these are the options that we have exhaustively covered with which you can work on an incident effectively, firefight day-to-day issues. In addition to this, I would like to also highlight one of the very crucial modules of the application, and it is neglected most of the times. What if you don't have a resolution? You have tried your best, you have done research on the internet, however, you are not able to fix the issue. Because you don't have a solution article with which you can resolve the issue, and moreover, you don't have the time, so you may have to delegate it to a senior engineer to work out and find a resolution. So that is where problem management comes into picture. So when a technician has exhausted the solutions module and also the research has failed, he can create a new problem. Now this problem can be assigned to a senior engineer who will do the root cause analysis, find out new solutions, update the information in the solutions article, and also let know the technician how an issue can be resolved. Now I have created a new problem. So let us take a look at how problem management and incident management can work with each other. So this is the problem ticket that I have newly created. Once I go here, in the analysis section, I can update the symptoms that I observed during the occurrence of the issue, the impact that it has caused, and also the root cause once you find it out. Now it is also possible to directly update the solution from here. So there are 2 ways by which I can add new solutions. If I find it only after creating a new problem, assigning it to a senior engineer, I can add new solution from here, which will populate the solutions module. The other way is from the incident. So let us assume that a technician finds the solution in the incident level. He's a smart engineer, he has found it from the ticket. He can also update the solutions module. To do that, go to the ticket, resolution section. When you create a new solution, there is an option to save and add to solutions. That way, creating new solution article is not a separate task. It doesn't have to be given to an engineer to do that. Instead, it becomes part of the incident management. As and when you find out new solutions to resolve issues, you can update it and also add it to the solutions module. And there is a review mechanism available with which a senior engineer can review the article for worthiness and put it into the list of approved solutions. So we have covered most of the parts that you have to know for effectively managing incidents. In addition to this, I will also like to showcase two automation options that will come in handy when you're working on the tickets. The first one is the business rules. So you might have heard about business rules. This is the first step of automating things in Service Desk Plus. All the automation can be done in the user interface. So I would like to call this as a portal or an interface with which you can transfer all the knowledge that you have acquired into automation. So this is a set of rules that can automate the work that you have been doing manually for a very long time. So let me show you an example of what it can do. So printer issues is the new rule that I'm going to create. Now, whenever the subject of a ticket contains the word printer, which is received via email or through the new request form, it has to be allocated to a certain technician, to a specific technician. So all you have to do is create a rule like this. Subject contains the word printer, add to rules, and choose the action that has to be performed. Now, whenever an email is sent with the word printer in the subject, it is automatically handled and assigned to a technician. Now, this applies for within business hours. Let us say your business hour lies between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. What should happen after 6 p.m.? So if you have a backup engineer who will take care of all the issues after 6 p.m., then you have got this option, outside operational hours. So outside operational hours, you can create a separate rule. So when a ticket arrives outside operational hours, instead of Dylan James, I want this ticket to go to Ricardo. So you have two set of rules now, one to take care within operational hours, another one to take care outside operational hours. So this is the first step towards automation. With this interface, you can combine multiple criterion and also combine multiple actions. So as soon as the criteria matches with the rule, it will get executed. It will automatically perform the action. And also it is possible to trigger an email notification when this business rule gets executed. So you can notify the backup engineer who is working out of the business hours about the issue that has been assigned to him. The second automation is setting the due by time on the ticket through SLA. So we all know how SLA works. So with SLA, based on certain criteria in the ticket, most of the times the criteria is priority. So if the priority is critical and I want to apply the time within which the ticket has to be resolved, I can choose the time window here. So I want all the critical priority tickets to be resolved within 2 hours and responded within 30 minutes. So this time period will be enforced on a technician. So if he fails to meet the time frame, then I can escalate it. It is also possible to configure an SLA to work irrespective of operational hours, holidays, and weekends. So generally, this gets interfering. It gets applied with operational hours. But if you want to, override the operational hours, holidays, and weekends, it is possible through these checkboxes. And in the escalation, you've got 1 level for response violation and 4 level for resolution violations. So it is possible to escalate before or after the point of violation. So it will trigger notifications to the ticket owner and or to other technicians. So that way the ticket owner is notified as well as a senior engineer is notified so that he can take over or push the engineer to work on this ticket. In addition to just triggering email notifications, it is also possible to perform actions. So these are the 4 actions supported. You can move the ticket from one support group to another, reassign the ticket to a different engineer, increase the priority, and also increase the level. So this is the second automation that I wanted to showcase, with regards to, the first step of automation in incidents. So hope we have covered many of the options available in the application. So I would like to give you a quick gist of what we covered today and the best practices that I would like you to follow in your organization. Business rules is one of the key in automation options, easy to use interface available in the application. So I would recommend you to give it a shot, create rules, and automate most of the work that you do. So that way, the coordinator can be relieved from these kind of activities, repetitive works, and you can effectively use the resource for other activities. Self-service portal, I know that it is very hard to educate the end users to make use of the self-service portal, but with ServiceDesk Plus, it is easier. All you have to do is integrate the application with Active Directory, give them the URL. So once they access the URL, they can provide their Active Directory credentials, the domain credentials, and it is also possible to set up a single sign-on model with which users won't even have to update their credentials. They will pass through it, access the portal, report incidents, and also they can check the status of the incidents they already have reported. That will significantly reduce the calls that you receive and also follow up emails and calls. Notification rules gives you the privilege to, the option to set a transparent communication model. So during the course of the request lifecycle at various points, you will keep the end users updated with notifications. So there will be a transparency between the IT and the business. So they will know when the issue will be resolved. Knowledge base. So this is one of the unutilized modules, I would say. So because most of the times we think that knowledge base has to be populated separately with a dedicated engineer. So that is not the case. So it becomes part of incident management. As and when you find out new resolutions, you can add the resolution and publish it as a knowledge base article. Service level agreements will help you to enforce due by times on the ticket so that you can comply with what you have agreed with your business. And finally, I would like to showcase the automated closure with which you can automatically handle the closure of the tickets once resolution is given, and dashboards. So this is one other important point. So there is a built-in dashboard available for technicians. So they can go under the dashboards. Help desk dashboard shows the various widgets, which will quickly give you an overview of how the help desk is performing. And also it is possible to create custom dashboards. So in addition to the default widgets that are available here, you can even create custom dashboards. So if you want to give the privilege to your executive members to quickly take a look at the performance of your IT team, you can create an executive dashboard, choose the modules, and also choose to share this with the technicians. Once it is done, a shared dashboard is created and a quick overview is shared with your executive members. So with this, I would like to conclude this presentation, and now it is time for some questions and answers. So I'll try to answer most of your questions in this session, but due to time limitations, I will not be able to answer everything. So what I will do is I'll answer all your questions and we'll publish it in the masterclass webinar registration page. So last week we received a lot of questions about service catalog. So we have answered it. We'll be publishing it shortly. In addition to that, this session's question and answers will also be answered, and we'll publish it in the registration page of the masterclass webinar series. So let me take a few questions now. So I've got a question. What is the version of ServiceDesk Plus that you use? So this is ServiceDesk Plus on premises. version 9.4, built 9404. 9406 is the latest version, so I'm using two builds older. On a request tab, is it possible to expand all the request conversations directly instead of one by one? I'm really sorry, it is not possible to expand all the conversation at once, so you may have to expand it one by one to read it. Are the category list connected to how users see incident catalog? Not really. So category subcategory item is a separate list with which you classify a request. But in order to combine and show the templates, we use service categories. So service categories are different than the category subcategory and item list. If you would like to know more about it, please take a look at the previous webinar on service catalog, where we have explained in detail about it. So it is available in the YouTube. All you have to do is go to YouTube and search Masterclass ServiceDesk Plus. You will find out the video. You can take a look at it. So, and also this particular session will also be recorded and uploaded in our YouTube channel. We'll also send you mailers with a link to the YouTube channel. You can take a look at it later as well. So you can share it across to your office members. So another question, you showed that technicians can share incidents, but is it possible for requesters to share requests? Looking for something like watchers functionality in Jira. So right now it is not possible for an end user to share a request. So technician can share a request with an end user. So that is possible. So what if I share request? Will the technician get the rights to look at this request if he usually didn't have? Yes, of course. Even if a technician's role doesn't allow him to view that ticket, if it is shared manually, then he'll get the privilege to take a look at it. So that is the exact need for which we created this feature. So though the role restricts, once you share the ticket, he can view it. Is it possible to get the notes on top as they are easily missable in the bottom? I definitely understand this point. So the reason why we have kept the notes at the bottom is because the important details of the tickets are available at the top. But however, I would like to show you one more option with which you can know that there are notes available for a ticket. So when you go to a request, so this is a request with a note. So from here, I can directly take a look at the previous notes. And also the other option is once you open the ticket, at the top, the notes button will show the count of notes that has been added for this request. Once you click on it, it will take you to directly to the bottom. So these are workarounds, I know that, but I'll take it down. I'll discuss it with my product management team, and let's see how we can improvise that. What are the solution keywords searching from? Which fields in request? So solution keywords have to be manually populated. So when you add a new solution, the keywords have to be comma separated and manually populated. But when you go to create a new incident, it will automatically match the subject entries and it will compare it with the solution keywords. If they match, it will be given as a suggestion to the end user. So can you move the icon for a dual technician that are working on a ticket? So it is not possible to move the icon. It is always at the right side of the request details section. So if you open a ticket that has been already opened by another technician, you will get the prompt at the right side as a small pop. Can you limit solutions to just a part of technicians? Yes, of course, you can do that. So when you go to add a new solution, so let me open an existing solution. So this, I want to show only to technicians. If that is the case, uncheck this option. So that way only technicians will have access to it. But if your question is about only a specific set of technicians, then it is not possible. So say for example, if you want to limit it based on a support group, that is not possible right now, but it can be limited only to technicians and not to requesters. So how to enable on-hold status for a particular technician? So we cannot enable the option of keeping a request on hold on a technician level. However, it can be done in a role. So when you go to create a new role for a list of technicians, there you can create a restriction. Let me edit the role that I created, to show you how it works. So this is a test role that we created. So down there in the advanced permission section, so here there is an option called allow stop timer. So if it is unchecked, the technician will not get the privilege to move the request on hold. Please show how to import tickets from CSV. So I'm really sorry I missed this part. So this is one more option that is available. Assume that you are moving from a different system into ServiceDesk Plus. It is possible to import tickets from the older system into the new system, by making use of import tickets. So if you have the list of tickets in an XLS file, the XLS file can be used to bring in all the tickets into the system. And also it is possible to export this view into an Excel sheet. So if you have created a custom filter, and if you want the list of the tickets, quickly exported to an Excel sheet, you can click on export. So these are the formats with which you can export it. How can we show different incident templates to different users? All right. So once again, for this question, I would recommend you to take a look at the previous webinar recording on Service Catalog. However, I quickly show you how you can, show this request templates to a specific audience. To do that, we have got an option called user groups. So under the admin section, user section, you've got user groups. So based on different criterion, we can create user groups. So criteria such as job title, email addresses, site, department can be used to create a group of users. And if you want to show a template only to this user group, go to the incident template section, edit the template. At the bottom, you've got the option show to requester, choose the group. Now, rest of the end users will not have access to this template. Only select user group audience will be shown with this. So how can you configure Gmail? So any email service that supports POP or IMAP can be configured with ServiceDesk Plus. So it is not only specific to certain mailboxes. Any email service that supports POP and IMAP, you can make use of it to connect with the application. And for sending out emails, we support SMTP. So these are common protocols. So you can configure, of course, configure Gmail with ServiceDesk Plus. All right, thank you so much for joining this webinar series. So there is another session on incident management. So there we are going to showcase how large-scale implementations that are spread across different geographical locations can be handled with ServiceDesk Plus. So this session is on 10th of May, and there are 3 timings. One is at 11 a.m. Singapore time, 11 a.m. GMT, and another one is 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you've got any questions or feedback, please shoot an email to support@servicedeskplus.com. Hope to catch you on the next session. Thank you so much and have a good one.